reality is early years,
Mm-hmm.
but I am passionate about inclusion, special educational needs and disabilities. And it started with my first son was misdiagnosed as being deaf and dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And my one of my nephew was born after I came here. He's 30 years old. He's never walked.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at him from up here, you couldn't tell. And I always say
He looks
you
okay.
cannot always tell by looking. But every time I go to Jamaica and I look at him and I see if he had the opportunities, he could sit on his bottom there and be something. And I've worked with children in the early years. One child in particular, I think that child is going to be a savant. Yeah.
Okay.
So because I said my status and my expertise, I'm an authority on subjects from the cradle to the grave. And I used to work as an EYFS coordinator at CENCO, a
Okay.
multi-generational working approach facilitator, where we bring the young and the elderly together. And I have a classic case now of my husband is going to be 100 on the 8th of March.
And they
I
wanted
see-
to
I
lock
see-
you up for your husband's birthday.
Yes, on International Women's Day.
Can you imagine? Oh my good Lord.
Mhm.
So you they you had various allegations that you've assaulted people and all that, which is quite crazy. If someone said you assaulted someone, I believe last year you were telling me about a case. You were somewhere at a venue and you weren't even near the scene, or you couldn't have possibly done the offense, and they were prosecuting you, allegedly prosecuting you.
Mhm.
I mean, how many times have you been falsely accused of doing something and then sentenced, so-called sentence, and fined? And
You know what? It's the verbal allegations that it all started, and it's linked to the workplace. Because it was like the first time in this last occasion, I went to a wedding, and there were claims made by a young person that I was at the wedding talking about these things. Anthony would know that the way we are raised, we don't behave a certain way in certain contexts. So there is no way I would be going to a wedding and be behaving a certain way. Yes? So that was where it all started. But they had an agenda. Because as soon as I transferred from where I was working, and my track record is good, and came to this place, it was the CEO of the company that actually sanctioned the discrimination. But you know what? I done a Voice of a Child research for her in 2010, August 2010, and I have the letter asking me to do it. And that was after I was a participant in Dr. Maria Hudson's research paper for the Policy Studies Institute, The Experience of Multiple Discrimination, recommended to ACAS. So those were like things that I have done coming from another job, because allegation was used to get me out of another job. So I moved on, and then it's like after a certain period of time, it's like a repetition.
yeah,
Yeah?
the same
So
same formula over and over again. You're a
Right.
bad person. We found you guilty. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But they can't produce the material to support the guilt or the sentence.
But what is of note is the fact that my disability was used against me.
Yeah.
So I had a chronic anxiety diagnosis from 2006, because I shy away from doing any studies to do with exam, but there are some where you have to do it. So I had to do the health and social care one. So because I do not have a medical diagnosis for Parkinson's, So the best the doctor could do was give me a chronic anxiety diagnosis in 2006. But that
Right.
was always I think that some of that was psychological because I've got counseling, and unless I'm triggered, I'm okay. You're looking at me now, and the voice is okay. So that's why I have decided that I want to be a mental health and send advocate. That's my passion, my priority.
Okay,
Because I publish a lot of
turning around. Your mess is your message, right?
yes. So I publish a lot of materials online that was used sometimes by other websites.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So,
Let me
how
just
many
answer my
solicitors-
husband. Give me 1 second. I'm going to phone.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,